This puppy is food aggressive. Hey guys, Jeff here. I just want to share a little video with you of a session I did at a local shelter down here in North Carolina. I was called in because they had a puppy there that was being food aggressive. It was actually guarding the food and going to nip and bite at people when the puppy was eating. So they called me in to work with the puppy and give them some tips on how to A, manage the behavior, and B, more importantly, modify the behavior. And while I was there, they actually took video because the person who was going to foster the puppy wasn't there. So they actually took video to share with her, and they shared the video with me, and I want to share that video with you. I'm not going to go into too much detail right here because I'm actually talking throughout the entire video clips that you're going to see. But I did want to mention a couple of things about the video. First and foremost, I'm going to show you a video that they sent me initially, what they were experiencing before I was hired to come in and work with the puppy. They actually sent me some video on what the puppy was doing, and they were kind of using some kind of stick or something to kind of move the food bowl around to try and show what the puppy was doing. Obviously, I have feelings and opinions about utilizing things like sticks and stuff, or that fake hand, which I hate, when utilizing or implementing a protocol to modify food aggression or food guarding. And they assured me that they just did that just so they could show me what the puppy was doing and keep themselves safe, obviously. So the first video is the initial video that they sent me, so I could see what the puppy was doing. And then after that, there's a couple of clips of me actually working with the puppy and talking to them and describing what I was doing. And you're going to notice in the video I had protective gear on, and at first glance people are probably going to think, why the heck is he so worried about a little puppy mauling him? Right? Why is he wearing all this gear? And although when I work with aggressive animals, I often put gear on to protect myself, in this case, and most of the time, I'm also wearing protective gear to protect the dog, right? Even if it's a little puppy, right? I mean, a puppy's not going to maul me. I'm not going to lose a finger. The problem is that when you're working with organizations, let's say there was a mishap and the puppy, nicks my hand and breaks skin. These organizations, they have to report this stuff, right? There's laws about bites and things along those lines. I mean, worst case scenario, let's say I wasn't wearing protective gear and my skin got ripped open. Maybe the puppy didn't maul me, but my skin got ripped open and I needed medical attention, right? Now, I go get medical attention and this puppy, little tiny thing, has a bite on his record, right? So that's one of the reasons, and I wear protective gear, not just to protect myself, but also to protect the dog, right? I'm doing things that, for lack of a better word, might antagonize the puppy or cause the puppy to react, in this case with the food guarding or food aggression. I don't want that puppy biting me. I'm not concerned about my well-being. I'm putting the protective gear on to protect the puppy. So that's why I'm using the protective gear. From a behavior standpoint, the protective gear also allows me to take a bite if that happens, right? So if a puppy is guarding and it goes to hit me, I'm not backing away. And I do implement protocols like that with food guarding at times, depending on the dog, because generally if there's bite and releases, the puppy will, if the puppy continues to do that, at some point the puppy will abandon the behavior because it no longer produces the expected result, meaning the puppy snaps and bites and drives the threat away. So those are some of the reasons why. I won't get too in-depth as far as the protective gear goes, but primarily it's because I want to protect the puppy. And obviously, in the interest of time, when people hire me, I do sometimes expedite my protocol and my approach, right? Because when I'm called in, especially in a situation like this, yes, it's part training, but it's also part observation and assessment, right? So some of the things I'm doing aren't necessarily training. I might be kind of, picking and choosing, when and how I approach the dog, or implement some training protocols, maybe make the dog sit and wait, things along those lines. So when I go into a shelter environment where, a puppy or a dog is up for adoption and doesn't have a home, my sessions are usually twofold: part observation assessment and part training. So it's a little bit of both. It's kind of like what I call a hybrid training session. So let's take a look at the initial video that the shelter sent me before I actually was hired to go in and work the puppy. This is the video they sent me.
And he's got those sharp puppy teeth.
That phone can wait, Maria. I'll call him back. You gonna come do it again? That phone can wait. I'll call whoever back. Yeah. Sit.
So that was the video they sent me. Obviously, we had a little bit of a chat as well to explore more what was going on, and obviously to schedule my appointment to come to the shelter and check the puppy out. And you know, you could tell, I mean, for a little puppy, I think he was like 3 months old at the time. That's pretty intense behavior for a little puppy. Not crazy, not the worst I've seen, but certainly warrants reaching out to a trainer to assist. So I'm glad that I did, and I did ultimately get hired. And the next set of video is what they took while I was there. I'm not going to go too much into detail right now because, again, I comment all throughout the video, but I felt it was important information to share, whether you're a dog owner or puppy owner that might be experiencing some things, or if you're a rescue person. I know you're going to get puppies like this from time to time, so hopefully this video will help you guys out as well. The video starts a little bit after I got there, so you miss a little bit of the early exercises I did with the puppy, and those were some things I did primarily for assessment and observation, just to kind of see how the puppy would react to me coming in and out away from his food, and also I wanted to assess the level of stress the puppy experiences. Like if it was a 2 or 3 year old dog, I probably wouldn't be as worried about stress levels. But with puppies, especially young puppies, I'm very careful to make sure that I assess and observe how I approach the puppy and how the puppy responds to my actions, my body language, the speed of how I interact with the puppy. All of these things come into play. So the early exercises, assessment exercises, if you will, they didn't catch on camera, but again, you'll be able to see the majority of the session here. So hopefully it's helpful, and let's go take a look.
Yeah, do you have a deep bowl?
So with resource guarding, once the bowl is theirs, generally, that's where the guarding intensifies. So whoever's going to be doing this, obviously I'm not afraid of him. I just, like I mentioned earlier, if he's going to make contact with me and potentially bite, having gloves and protection on eliminates my human nature to back up if he gets intense or whatever. But generally, the exercises I did to start off with some treats, having him wait till I release him to the treat, like those are all things that we can do. With the feeding, if we're holding the bowl, he's probably not going to advance. But again, we only get one little bowl so far, so we'll see how he does. And then we'll push the issue in a little while. Once he's eating, I'll kind of go and get the bowl. The problem with getting the bowl is it causes a feeling of deprivation, right? So, you know, runs of the litter, sometimes they have that issues because they were never given a teat, right? So they had to fight for it, literally. So we'll see how he goes. So this time I'm going to hold the bowl the whole time, and we'll see how he does. Okay, go boy. Good boy, buddy. Good boy. Good job. Yes. Good job. So as long as he's focused on food, I can toss treats in while he's eating. Again, that will cause an association with people of more, not necessarily deprivation. And I mean, even when people like buy a puppy, one of the biggest pitfalls with resource guarding, trainers tell them, oh, make sure you mess with them when they're eating. That's the absolute worst thing you could do. You want to make feeding a non-event. You want to make your presence completely benign. Now, you can always add treats while the dog's eating, but how many times have you heard people over the years, oh, make sure you move the bowl?
Everyone tells us, yeah.
If you walked up to me when I was eating and even touched my plate, I got news for you, I'm going to bite you.
Yeah? It's true.
So yeah, so especially with resource guarding, where he's already intent on resource guarding, at best, we want to make the presence of people a non-event. Okay, that's the first start, and then, you know, obviously here I'm expediting things in the interest of time, but then we can start tossing treats in, you know, so whoever's doing this when they're home, if they want to start just putting the food bowl down, walking by and just tossing treats near the bowl, they could certainly do that. They don't have to do it this up close and personal, but based on what I'm seeing so far, as long as we're holding the bowl, he's probably not going to guard it. Once we put the bowl down and it becomes his, then he might be more likely to guard it, right? So step one is to, let's change the culture of feeding when people are close in the presence of him feeding, and then we can start creating a positive association to the people. And I'm doing everything in a short, condensed period of time, but because they're willing to work with him over the course of several weeks, that it's better to stretch this out over the course of time as opposed to just doing it right away. Have another bowl? Come on. Got a knucklehead. Thank you. And if we can get him to wait until we release him, that would be good. Good job. Way to go, bud. I'm so proud of you. That's a good boy. So clearly the beef jerky is a higher value than the food right now, which is probably why it's working. I mean, maybe because of what we did earlier, I established my relationship, but whatever food they use to either make this event benign or create a positive association has to be higher value than the food, obviously. So like a milk bone is probably not going to cut it because it's basically the same as kibble. So I'll put the food bowl down. I'm not going to take it away, right? Because the purpose here is also to start shifting his mind. So I'll put the food bowl down and then I'll just start tossing treats in. Now, obviously, I'm in a confined space. So if this was in somebody's kitchen, you could put the food bowl down, you know, and just kind of walk around and toss treats. Like, so the person, whoever it is, they can do that. You know, and here I have nowhere to go, so I have to do it this way. Here, bud, look. Here. Good boy. Good job, buddy. So I'm probably going a little fast right now, but he's responding okay.
Yeah.
You know, so we don't have to push the issue. And I know the video you sent me was to show what he's doing, which is fine. But and then the reason why I responded the way I did is because a lot of people said, "Oh, you got to mess with the bowl. You got to move it around. You got to touch the dog when he's eating." No, you don't. Especially not right now. At some point, yeah, you could do that, but I mean, you know, you probably heard me say this a lot. We put dogs, or I should say, we expect a higher level of behavior from dogs than we do people.
Yeah.
You know, think about it. If you went into some strange house or a restaurant and some stranger walked up to you and started eating your spaghetti, I don't know about you, we got problems. I don't even share food with my family. Got another bowl? Back up, buddy. Thank you. So don't do this part at home. I'm just kind of seeing what he's willing to do. What? So now I'm just going to pet him while he's doing this. And yeah, good boy, I'm so proud of you. Yes, good boy. Okay, so do you have like a little bag of kibble? Because I'm going to need to pour while he's eating. Perfect. So this is another way we can do it is, I don't like feeding out of the hand, only because our purpose here is to get him over the whole bowl thing. Because think about what we're seeing right now is once it's empty, it's over.
Yes.
Which is beautiful, right?
Yep.
It's the residual guarding where, especially as they get older and bigger and more powerful, that's where a lot of risk is associated with dogs, that they guard the bowl. They don't give a crap if there's anything in it or not. So hand feeding is certainly one of my go-tos, but not feeding out of my hand being more, right? Again, so there's no deprivation. So we'll wait for him to eat. Good boy, good job. And again, if they want to use gloves, there's nothing wrong with using gloves. I'm just doing this so I don't spill crap all over the place. Yes, good job.
she made it.
Good boy, yes.
Jeff, would this be a better way to feed him in the morning?
If you guys, yeah, you don't necessarily have to do the constant hand feeding, but if you're comfortable enough to hold the bowl while he's feeding, you can certainly do that right now. You know, and fortunately for puppies, they eat 2-3 times a day.
Good. You made it.
So you have multiple opportunities to work through this through the day. It's all about comfort. It's really the bottom line.
Jeff, this is Sandra that just walked
Hi,
in.
nice to meet you.
She's the one that would be willing to work with him for a few
Okay.
weeks.
We got most of it on video, so.
Yeah.
Yep, you're the guinea pig. And then another part of the process again is a lot of this is using your intuition when he's ready for the next step, when we're ready for the next step. Again, I don't like hand feeding, but if you wanted to, you could hold the bowl, right? So the bowl is part of the equation and hand feed him like that, again, to create dissociation from whatever is causing his guarding, right? Whether he was a runt of the litter or...
Well, when we did first get him, he went to the bathroom in his kennel and pooped pure dirt. I never seen that before. It was just dirt.
Right, yeah,
So I don't know what he was eating and living off of.
Yeah, who knows, right? I mean, was he a stray?
Yes.
So who the hell? I mean, okay. So let's say he was with his whole litter, but for somehow got displaced or whatever, and
He was thrown from the car,
He
right?
got displaced, he got dropped off. The truck went down.
Christine got this
to
one.
Get in, some people's got a camera, and when they turned around, the puppy was chasing the truck.
wow.
But they couldn't get the tag number. It was too dark.
I'm so proud of you. Good job.
Hey,
You're a little fatty today, huh?
He can eat.
What?
He can eat.
Good boy. Sit. Yes, good job. So proud of you. Oh, I got nothing. I got nothing, huh? So before, I mean, you'll watch it on video too, but our whole purpose initially is to make feeding a non-event in the presence of humans. We don't necessarily, what I'm doing now is just kind of part of the process. We want, you know, if you're going to be home, feed him in the kitchen or whatever, or even if he's in the crate, I guess you're going to have him crated, right, at home, or...
We haven't gotten that far yet.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I just assume because he's a puppy, you know.
Right, yeah,
So-
no, if I'm allowed to foster him for a little bit,
Okay, yeah, so I mean, we don't want to mess with them too much initially. We want to, obviously I'm doing this here in the interest of time, but
Sure.
our whole purpose is to make the presence of humans completely benign and a non-event.
Right.
what a good boy, yes! I
I'm so proud of you. Yes, I am. Oh my goodness. Yes, what a good boy. Yeah. Oh yes. Yes, you're a little son of a gun. You're a little son of a gun. Yes. Yes.
So that time, because of his body language, as soon as the bowl was empty, I kind of gave him some gratuitous praise. So clearly he's okay with it, so that's good. But I'm your guinea pig too, right? So part of this is, you know, what's going to work and what's going to backfire on me.
Fair. Fair.
And they're going to be mad at me later because you might have a little loose stool there.
Oh yes. Yes, buddy. I'm so proud of you. Yes, I am.
The bowl out.
Oh,
Yeah.
goodness.
He's not grabbing it.
Oh my goodness, yes! What a good boy! Yes! Good job! Yes! What a good boy!
It's nothing, it's empty. It's empty. It's empty. That's my thumb, dummy. Thank you. Any issues with toys or anything, or is it just food?
I wasn't here with
Yes, good boy. Good job, buddy. So I'm just going to work on his bite. I did this earlier on, just to work on his bite inhibition a little bit. If you're comfortable enough to do this separate from feeding, I'm just kind of holding the treat between my fingers, making sure I feel his teeth on my skin, and then I'll yelp.
Okay.
And then if he disconnects, which he usually does, I praise right away and give him the treat.
Good boy! Good job, buddy! What a good boy! Yes! Good boy! Oh my goodness! Yes! I am so proud! Yes! See, I can be goofy! I can be goofy! Yes, I can! Yes, I can!
Good job.
Good boy!
So if you're good at yelping, you could do that. The other thing too is anytime you're giving him treats, if you just pinch it between his fingers, luckily he doesn't have puppy teeth anymore, so we can do this. Those razor sharp teeth, forget about it. As soon as his teeth make contact, his initial contact is a little firm. As he lightens up, I'll slide the treat right in. Good. Oh, you dropped it, buddy. So that was his softest yet. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah. Okay, so you took it easy on me today. Oh, that hurt. Any questions?
It's worse when you go, as far as when the bowl's full, and like if you get it spilled and you try to get it up, that's when he attacks. So how do you correct that? I mean, if somebody accidentally does it and forgets.
So when you spilled it.
Even if you put it down and go move the bowl, or you try to get it where it's spilled, that's when he comes out.
Like if you set the bowl of food down and you are even walking close to that bowl, he'll try to come after you.
No, I mean,
You want to give me a bowl? I mean,
He did great what I'm seeing with you, but I don't know.
well, the thing is too is I'm not putting him in a position to have to guard because we need to reverse his behavior. If I was coming here to evaluate him, right? Let's say I don't. So that's that. That was actually, and I didn't edit anything. I just let it run through. No point in editing it. You never know what is going to be useful to someone, so I didn't want to edit anything out. I wanted to show, you know, that this is the video they sent me that they took while I was there, so I showed it in its entirety. So hopefully it was helpful. And, you know, listen, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Take a peek around my channel too. If you like what you see, consider subscribing to my channel as well. And don't forget, if there's any content that you want me to upload, feel free, drop a comment below. If you're having issues, drop a quick comment below. Obviously, if it's a quick question, I usually can answer in the comments below. If it's a more in-depth question, it's often challenging to do just with a couple of comments here on YouTube. But I do offer Zoom consults to people as well all over the world. So I'm here to help you. More importantly, if again, whatever content you want me to upload, let me know. And again, thank you for all your support. I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys soon.